All right, and away we go. Welcome to Niners Nightly, everybody. Larry Krueger back with you. Hope everybody's having a fantastic August the 26th, 2025. And we know it is a great day for some NFL people because, hey, you know what? They made their roster. They living their dream. But it also is a crushing end for others as almost 1,200 guys lost jobs today in the NFL. It was cut down day around the NFL as rosters had to be paired from 90 to 53 in advance of week one in the NFL, which still is, a week and a half off or so. But we got a great hour for you as we always do. Good to see everybody in the chat. I see Greg. He said the Giants suck at home. Greg, don't do it to yourself. Don't do it to yourself, Greg. The Giants suck at home. But then he comes back and he rebounds with a pig in a pickle. Thank you. Thank you. This is not the Pig in a Pickle Krug show, though, on the Krug show YouTube channel. Tonight we are on the KMBR YouTube channel, and it is Niners Nightly, and we're glad to be here. And hit like and subscribe because the more you hit like and the more the people that are here hit like, the more people will show up here, and that's a good thing. We usually start slow and finish big, and like sometimes I'll look up. We got 300-400 people in the room at the end of the hour, and we start with 0. So definitely, I'd love to hit like and subscribe. See if we can get. I'd love to get 1,000 people in the room one of these days on the KMBR YouTube channel. But this was a big day, and the Niners made a bunch of cuts, and every team in the league made cuts. And let's just get right into it. Bottom of the hour, the great Raj Melwani is going to stop by as well. We'll get his thoughts on cut down day in the NFL. The big story with the 49ers is that the Niners kept Juwan Jennings. They kept him. They kept him on the 53-man roster. They didn't put him on a list. They didn't have some special designation. They didn't trade him. They didn't put him on the IR. Some people suggest he could go on the IR. And all these options are probably still very much available. But he is, for the moment, on the 49ers 53-man roster. He's had a calf injury, and he's had it since March, but it's not serious. Which is always makes you kind of wonder about the whole credibility of the entire calf injury when it's not that serious, but calves, they're tricky. He's had it since March, April, May, June, July, August. It's almost September. And he's been spewing anger on his social media about, I would imagine, it's his contract related. I'm pretty sure that it's contract related. And the Niners want and need JJ back like yesterday, like today, like absolutely he needs to be there in Seattle. So there's that. He wants a lucrative extension. They appear to be saying no. Are they or aren't they? Is it possible that John Lynch and Parag Marathe, the negotiators for the 49ers, are having secret contract extension talks with Drew Rosenhaus, the agent for Juwan Jennings? If not, are the Niners prepared to have a less than thrilled Juwan Jennings in their locker room? And before you say, oh, Krug, come on, he's going to be a pro. He's JJ. He's going to be a pro. Well, you know what? Mooney Ward was a pro until they told him they weren't going to extend him. And then he said he admitted a couple weeks ago or a month ago, maybe it was 2 months ago now, that he basically shut it down after he found out that the Niners weren't interested in an extension. He's like, yeah, emotionally wasn't into it. Based on what I've read from JJ's social media, he's not emotionally into it right now. Right now. That's what it sounds like. Go read it yourself. You tell me. He wants an extension. They appear to be saying no. How does it get resolved? Does he hold out? Is he there? They put him on the roster today. It's like they're daring him to be there. It's like I get and they keep. I mean, it's like, are we going to get a definitive answer on this? Can we get a little clarity? A little maybe I don't know, transparency? Can we get a little transparency here? What's the big secret? Why can't we just be transparent? I don't understand what's going on here. Do you pay him? Do you ignore him? He's got a contract. To me, if you pay him, I think that opens a whole nother can of worms. One, you're paying a guy that's got a calf injury that he's had for 6 months. Two, you got Colton McKivitz, who's in the exact same situation. And instead of, I don't know, sitting on the sidelines all summer, he actually played all summer. But of course, if JJ's hurt, he's hurt. I mean, the Niners have pushed this thing down the road. We were asked about the calf injury. It's not that serious, but it's lingering. Go talk to JJ. Oh, but JJ's not available. JJ's not practicing. Nobody's talking. He's chirping angry thoughts on his social media. The Niners are like, yeah, I think we expect him to be there. What's going on? I mean, are Lynch and Parag having secret contract extensions with Drew Rosenhaus, and we're going to hear a Jawan Jennings contract whatever? Or is their stance, he's got a contract. Get the calf healthy and let's go. And then at what point do they stop apologizing for this calf injury that's gone on forever, which is starting to feel, is it an excuse or is it real? And if it's real, then why are the 49ers not going out and getting a big-time wide receiver? If you have no wide receivers, I mean, nobody. I even saw Jerry drop a ball on Saturday night. I mean, if Jerry Rice is dropping passes, you really don't have anybody. So what are you going to do? What are they going to do? They're going to pay JJ. They're going to keep JJ. They're going to hope that JJ's happy, or they're going to trade JJ. They don't want to trade him. They need him. They love him. They want him and need him. The fans love him. The teammates love him. Everybody loves him. He wants to get paid. They don't want to pay him. It seems like an impasse. The Niners have stated position is that they're going to be ruthless in negotiations. You're not ruthless if you cave in to your third best wide receiver. You're not. I don't want this thing to go on forever, but I don't see how it comes to an end. And now they put him on the roster. So, JJ, you going to make your team go a man down because of feelings? Or is he going to get out there? And if he's got a real calf injury that he's had for 6 months, maybe you are going to put him on some kind of injured list. Either way, better be a wide receiver coming in the room pretty soon. Or it could be rough on Brock. I feel pretty good about this year, and I'll tell you why in a minute, but you got to have some receivers. You know, I mean, I'm not like a big receiver guy, but you got to have some receivers. I can't do it. Shanahan was a receiver. Maybe he's going to do it. All right, let's talk about who was cut today. This is what happened today. These are all the guys that were waived and or released. So if you're waived, every team in the league in the same order as the draft order has a chance to claim you. So whoever had the first pick in the draft, they get the first waiver claim. Niners have the 11th waiver claim because they had the 11th pick in the draft. And it's not where you ultimately draft, it's where your draft position was. So even if you had the 5th pick and you traded it or something, you don't lose your waiver thing. You're still in the 5th spot in the waiver claim. All right, here who was waived or released. And most of the veterans are released and the younger guys are waived. But Robbie Chosen, a lot of people thought Robbie Chosen was going to make this team. Nope, at least not for the moment. Waived or released, whatever. Michael Dunn, who had a pretty good game, the offensive lineman. Russell Gage Jr., who Lynch just said on KMBR, will be ready for week 1. And we'll go through the list and then we'll tell you who the guys I think will be signed back, because I think the number of these guys will be signed back. And this is going to be the story all over the league. You're going to cut a bunch of guys. And yes, some guys are going to jump ship to other teams, but a lot of them are just going to stay in the camp that they were because that's the program that they know. That's the offense or defense or special teams game plans that they've learned. And so for the purpose of continuity, teams are only going to change out players if they have to or they really love a player. The trend is to go with a lot of your own guys because you've been teaching a class, let's just say, for a 49er football all month. And so do you want to have a new kid in that you got to get up to speed, or do you just want to take some of those students that, that didn't make the 53 and put them on the practice squad. You have 17 practice squad spots. All right, so the Niners today, and they put Kevin Givens on the IR, set to return. Jacob Robinson with the forearm, IR, not set to return. Reserve suspension list, Isaac Alarcon, and then Demarcus Robinson as a 3-gamer. NFI list, Curtis Rourke, he gets the redshirt year. The rest of these guys were waived or released. Robbie Chosen, Michael Dunn, Russell Gage Jr., Jonathan Garvin, Trevis Gibson, Bruce Hector, Isaiah Hodgins, Fabian Moreau, Thomas Morstead. How about that? Right now, if the Niners had a game, they don't have a punter. So that's all procedural. He'll be back tomorrow. Jalen Allen, Curtis Robinson, Chaz Surratt, Malik Turner, Jeff Wilson Jr., Junior Bergen, Stone Blanton, William Bradley King, Derek Canteen, Dallas Flowers. I thought that was an interesting one. Shaquille Brown, Jalen Graham, Jalen Mahoney, Drake Nugent, Tariq Owens, Sebastian Valdez. How about that? Seabass and wave goodbye to Seabass. He's gone. He's gone. I mean, there's just no chance he's clearing waivers. That was a ridiculous move. Braden Willis, Nick Zakel, Tanner Mordecai, Carter Bradley. So there you go. That's the list. Bye-bye to those guys for the moment. Now, some of those guys I think the Niners would like to have back. Who do I think they want back out of that group? My guess is out of that group, they want back Robbie Chosen, Russell Gage, Trevis Gibson, who had a really, really good preseason, man. And he might get picked off by some other team because if the scouts are watching, and they always are, somebody saw that Gibson looked good. Gibson's going to get plucked probably. He's too good not to. Bruce Hector, I could see him back. Try hard defensive tackle. Isaiah Hodgins, need a veteran receiver on the practice squad. Thomas Morstead for sure, right? He'll be signed in the next day or two. Curtis Robinson was let go. He'll probably be back. Chaz Surratt. I mean, Robert Saleh had Chaz Surratt with the Jets. He's a developmental linebacker. He made a bunch of tackles in this last game. They were mostly 5 and 6 yards down the field. That does matter, by the way. And so he's a developmental player, former quarterback. But I could see Robert Saleh saying, yeah, let's stash Curtis and Surratt. Jeff Wilson Jr., you see a lot of people are like, send me notes today. Crew, can you believe they cut Jeff Wilson Jr.? I predicted it last night because it's also about who's likely to get through waivers and who isn't. Jeff Wilson Jr. has been available all year. He's been available all summer. Anybody could have had him. So you're going to put him through waivers. Yeah. Because what do you think? He did something in the last 10 days that all of a sudden there's this big market for him. There's a bigger market for Jordan James than there is for Jeff Wilson. So Jeff Wilson gets released, and he'll go on the practice squad, and he'll be an injury away from helping them. Junior Bergen, Stone. Oh, I don't think Junior Bergen's coming back. Stone Blanton, I do think's coming back. William Bradley King, would not be surprised at all if he came back. Derek Canteen had a really nice summer. He's a safety corner, real good ball skills, smart player. He's probably going to come back. Dallas Flowers, unless he gets picked off, and he might, but I think they're gambling that he'll come back. I mean, he came with Gus from the Colts, and Gus loves him. They utilized him in a lot of different roles on defense, on special teams. Flowers is a veteran. I'd be very surprised if he left. Now, there are a lot of teams looking for corners, so if he leaves, that's why. And that's why it's so important. That's why it was so important for Luter and Lucas to not get cut, because those guys were going to get plucked most likely. I actually think Luter would have had a better chance of getting picked off than Lucas, but Lucas had the high profile preseason. But I think Flowers is coming back if they can get him back. Drake Nugent, I think, had a good preseason. I could see him coming back and going on the practice squad. Nick Zakel, Brock Purdy's best buddy, who they've been trying to develop the last few years. And man, they tried to hand him a job. He just keeps getting beaten badly. And he's just not quite. He's a good guy. He's a good prospect. He's got good size. He's smart. He wants to be good. He's just not naturally that great. He gets bull rushed unless he's got just absolute perfect pad level. For a guy who's 6'6", 310, 320 to get bull rushed like that, that's not good. So he needs some more anchor as a as a pass protector, and then he obviously needs more foot speed as well. So I mean, it's just like he's just not quite. He's just kind of more of a backup profile, and there's nothing wrong with that. And he's a great guy, but and I think they will try to sign him back. And then my guess is Mordecai might get picked off the waiver wire, but who knows? I thought, I don't know how you guys felt, but I thought Mordecai outplayed Carter Bradley. Now, I know Carter Bradley's dad is Gus Bradley, and I know the Niners signed him with the idea that, hey, you put him on the practice squad for the year. Maybe they've got 17 practice squad spots. So if neither goes claimed, they could just retain their quarterback depth and have them both on the practice squad. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to have two quarterbacks on the practice squad. So that's it. That's how this thing came down today. As far as surprises, okay, let's get into it a little bit. Surprised that Trevis Gibson didn't make it and Robert Beal did. Because Robert Beal had a great last game and not a whole lot else. Now he's big and fast, and he's a really good special teamer. And special teams is a big emphasis for this team this year. But Trevis Gibson is a sack master. He's had 7.5 sacks in a season in the NFL, where Beal is a developmental guy who hasn't developed. So I don't know. And that one, I know Beal's big and strong and fast and special teams. He makes some impressive plays for sure. But man, I think I got to have 5 good defensive ends. So we'll get into that. That one was a little bit of a surprise that Trevis Gibson didn't make it. The other surprise to me was Dallas Flowers. I thought Flowers, I had him down as the 4th corner. But I think that's also about, hey, you know what? We might be able to get Flowers through waivers. We wouldn't get Luter through waivers. I mean, the Flowers is a veteran corner who other teams could have had, who's had he's had an Achilles. He's had major surgeries. And it's like, he's not the upside youth like Luter is. Luter would have gotten picked off for sure. They're gambling that Flowers maybe won't. And that, Flowers doesn't even go through waivers. Flowers is going to sign back. So Flowers is not even subjected to waivers. He's the veteran. So he's just going to be signed back. So they wanted to retain their inventory. And I think that right there is smart. I like that move. Why? Because retaining your inventory at corner is vitally important. There's an old saying, what's the secret to pass coverage in the NFL? Pass coverage. You heard that right. The secret to pass coverage is pass coverage. In other words, there is no secret to pass coverage in the NFL. You got to have dudes. You got to have guys. You got to have real guys. And there's only so many guys that can mirror NFL receivers up and down the field. And if you don't got them, you don't got them. So to retain a guy like Luter by getting a guy like Flowers, who you resuscitating his career, has had a great camp. Flowers has been great. When I saw that name, I was like, are you kidding me? Wow, Flowers? But when you think about it, it's just so that you don't lose Luter, because you have Luter and Flowers. So you don't want to see, it's about retaining your inventory of corners, which I'm all about. Big fan of retention of inventory at corner. Okay, so there's that one. The only move at all that I would even want to, if like John Lynch were on right now, if he were sitting right here, of course, there's no chance of that because this is not the Tim Kawakami podcast. But if he were here on the Niners Own show, Niners Nightly, I don't even think there's really any controversial moves today other than Sebastian Valdez. How do you say goodbye to Sebastian Valdez? Now, I know he's a rotation player. He had to play a lot of snaps, though. If you go look at the snap count, he played a lot of snaps this summer. He wouldn't normally play that many snaps on a team where what he does really well, and that's rush. If he played fewer snaps, he would have more. He would have more in the tank, and he probably is going to be a different kind of a player than the player that we saw in the preseason. Anyway, hopefully they'll get him back. I don't think they will. I don't think they will. I think he's going to be gone. I think he is going to move on. That would be my only question at all about any of these moves. I really kind of agree with almost every single move that they've made here, except for that one. I don't understand why you couldn't have created a spot for a guy that good. Are you telling me that Jake Tongus would have gotten picked off and you couldn't replace him? I mean, I think Jake Tongus probably would have gotten through waivers. And then if it really came down to it, Robert Beal's been in the league. He's a good special teamer, and I know we're emphasizing special teams, but an interior rusher on a team that has Evan Anderson, no interior rush, Alfred Collins, no interior rush. You kind of needed all your interior rushers. Who's the pass rush? Let's say the Niners get a 10-point lead and they want to put some heat on the quarterback in the second half of some of these games. Hopefully that will be the case, right? Let's root for that. Who's heating up the quarterback? You going to play Mikael Williams all the time inside? I guess, maybe. You got Kalia, Jordan Elliott. See where I'm going? You got run defender West, run defender Collins. You emphasize going for run defenders up front. Denver took Savion Williams from LSU in the mid-rounds. They got an interior pass rusher. There were a few of them in this draft. Ravens got Aeneas Peebles. They got an interior pass rusher. But the Niners didn't. Oh, but they did because they got Sebastian Valdez. Oh, but they didn't because they cut him at the cut down because they didn't want to part ways with Tongus. Really? Tongus has a roster spot. And Sebastian Valdez does not. Let that marinate for a second. So, that's the only decision the rest of the decisions I'm kind of with them on. I'm going to share the screen. We're going to bring in the great Raj Melwani here in about 5 minutes or so. Raj is already in the KMBR green room. Raj, do not eat all the food back there. The spread is wonderful tonight. And yes, those gifts are for you, courtesy of KMBR. Thank you. KMBR throws lavish gifts on guests of the Krueger Show, and all guests stay at the Mark Hopkins, the top of the Mark, when they visit the Krueger Show, and are lavished with gifts, courtesy of KMBR. Thank you to KMBR for that. Okay, we're joking we're joking about that. Raj is not staying at the Mark Hopkins, and no, he's not getting any gifts. No gifts for you. But we will have Raj in here. And now let me just. I want to share the screen so you guys can see this. That's the beauty of being on YouTube, is you can actually call up these graphics. So I'll do that right here. I'll share the screen. Where is it? Nope. Yes, there we go. Look at that. My own production man right here. Welcome to Niners Nightly, by the way, on the KMBR YouTube channel. We'll be on radio Thursday night. But we are here tonight, and we are glad to be here. This is the Niners depth chart. So obviously you're going to add a specialist, right? You're going to add Morstead tomorrow. And you went 4 safeties: Siegel, Brown, Pinnock, and Grant. I'm okay with that. Like those guys. You got obviously Malik coming back. They went 6 corners: Lenore, Green, Stout, Lucas, Neal, Luter. I got no problem with going 6 corners. It is a lot. It has Luter at the bottom there. I'd probably have Lucas at the bottom, but I can keep all 6. They went 5 linebackers. I was hoping they would try to carve out a 6 spot, because usually those guys are great special teamers. And I'd love to see Chandler Martin or Eugene Asante or somebody like that. Up front, they went 11 defensive linemen. And to me, this is the spot where, you know what? Who are your defensive ends? You have Bosa and Huff and Mikael Williams. Sam O's had physical problems all summer. He is not consistently practiced, and he's your fourth defensive end. Then you have Beal and Yatir Gross-Matos, and those guys really haven't produced much in their career. And that's where, if I were them, I'd be looking at what's out there. And this is the guy I would be the guy, the defensive end spot. To me, there's four things to do that I would do. One is you got to bring in a defensive end. Beal, special teamer, Gross-Matos hurt all the time. These guys haven't gotten it done. Beal has been on the team a couple of years. How many sacks does Robert Beal have in his career? Not very many, if any. The Ravens cut K'Mon Rucker, who played at North Carolina, and he's a really good edge rusher, and he had a really good preseason. He's a little bit undersized, 6'1", 260 instead of 6'4", like Beal. Beal's 6'4", K'Mon Rucker 6'1", but Rucker is a hell of a rusher. Another shorter rusher who got cut today, Mo Kamara. Do you remember him from Colorado State? He's a second-year player playing for the Dolphins. They cut him today. Those are pretty good defensive ends. Trevis Gibson. Like to have Trevis Gibson back. I kind of trust Trevis Gibson rushing the passer off the edge more than Beal or Gross-Matos, to be completely honest. And then there's a few other guys out there that are pretty interesting. Isaiah Foskey from De La Salle, who played at Notre Dame. The Saints cut him loose. Foskey's got a great motor. Josheen Davis played at Wake. Very athletic edge rusher. Jamin Davis, who I believe Saleh likes. I think Saleh brought him to the Jets. Former Commanders linebacker who they simplified things and said, hey, look, play fast. You just play defensive end. And he was pretty good at it for a while. So I'd be looking. There were some other guys as well, but those are the defensive ends that I just perused the list. And I thought, okay, you got to get a better defense because you're an injury away from leaning on Gross-Matos and Beal to rush the passer. And those guys have proven that they can't get it done for the most part. They're often hurt. And two, they're not that productive. I mean, Gross-Matos people have been gambling on his traits since he got into the league out of Penn State. And he's flashed at times. But there's been a lot of inconsistency there and a lot of injuries. And Beal, the same thing. Beal, 6'4", 260, runs sub 4.5. He should be killing people. He should be absolutely destroying people. And he's not. Okay, so he's more of a special teamer at this point. So yeah, if you can find a better edge rusher, and I like K'Mon Rucker and I like Mo Kamara a lot. Those guys can do it. Those guys can bend the edge. They're shorter, but they got great motor. Think Marcus Golden types. They just dog it off the edge. Just keep coming. Especially Kamara in college, but Rucker is really good too. And they both Rucker for sure had a good preseason. So that's move number one. Move number two, get that sixth linebacker. There's some really athletic, fast linebackers that can change this. You saw what Nick Martin brings to the table. Go get Chandler Martin. Baltimore cut him. He had a very good preseason. He was good at Memphis. He's a team captain, high character guy, great athlete, productive everywhere he's been. They're going to try to put him on their practice squad. Pick him off, man. He is a great player. Eugene Asante got an injury release from the Dolphins. He's free to go somewhere else. He is a hell of a player. Eugene Asante from Auburn is a big-time hitter. These guys show up at the football all the time. And if you don't believe me, go look what they did in the preseason. Chandler Martin, passes defense, tackles. Eugene Asante, like 6 tackles and a sack. These guys are making plays in the preseason. Chandler Martin, Baltimore, Eugene Asante, Miami. Figure out a roster spot that you can, carve out one more linebacker and get one of these guys. These guys are difference-making linebackers who can run, really run. Okay, wide receiver. Got to address wide receiver. And the great news is there's all kinds of options. The best ones out there to me, at least the ones that are most interesting to me, and everybody's got their favorites. And there's a bunch of guys. Old guys, young guys, tall guys, short guys, fast guys, slow guys. There's a ton of guys out there. So, and if you have ideas in the chat, hey, you might know more than me. Put them in there. I'd love to see it. I'm going to give you 4 names that I really like. one, if you're looking for that Debo clone who can kind of break tackles and do some stuff underneath and, be that safety valve, kind of like a McCaffrey, but can be a little bit of a runner, power runner, can do all that gadgety stuff. This is what the NFL has become now. It's like there's a lot of gadget plays. There's a lot of hitch screens and there's a lot of bubble screens and orbit motions. And you got to have guys that can run with the ball. Malachi Corley. Robert Saleh just drafted him in the 3rd round last year to Western Kentucky. He's got some talent. He's got some juke. He can make you miss. Laviska Shenault, running back, return man, receiver, everything. I mean, it seems like if you're the Niners right now, you're looking for ultimate versatility and maybe some special teams contribution. Why would you not be interested in that guy? Guy's big, fast, running back, receiver. I kind of think he's been – you got to remember, I mean, if you're a college football fan, you remember this guy at Colorado. This is one of the best players in the country at Colorado. And he's been on some lousy teams. Is it his fault that Carolina and Jacksonville didn't really use him all that well? This guy was in camp with Buffalo. They had a loaded running back room. But, man, Shenault can catch. He can run. He's a special team return man. He's got some size. I know at this point he'd be considered a journeyman, but that's a pretty talented journeyman I think could fit kind of like a poor man's Debo role. He could be really, really nice. Kyle gets a lot out of a lot of guys, but, I mean, I think he could really get something out of Shenault. I think Shenault could be the player that we saw at Colorado. He's not hurt or banged up or anything. He looks good. I've seen him move. He moves pretty good, and he can catch. All right, so that's number 2. The 2 guys, though, I really love are because I'm looking for playmakers, and the Niners should be looking for playmakers. Raheem Jarrett, the wide receiver from Maryland, fantastic. And Mario Williams, the wide receiver from USC, went to Tulane, was with the Rams. Both those guys would be very, very good. And then the other move that I would absolutely make, one of my absolute favorite players in the draft was Willie Lampkin, the big center from Carolina. And what did he do? He went to the Rams as an undrafted player. He went undrafted, and he went to the Rams. And I could not believe that he went to the Rams, right? I was like, you got to be kidding me. I love this guy. I'm going to share the screen on this one. And then we'll bring in the great Raj. All right, let me share the screen here. You can see what we're talking about. Okay, so here is the tweet about him today. LA Football Network says Willie Lampkin was the highest graded rookie offensive lineman in the NFL preseason. Any team across the board, according to PFF, 88.1. This guy was Pancake City. Awesome wrestler. This guy's 5'10", 290. Started. Why do I know this guy? You say, well, Krueger, why are you so fired up about this nobody guy? First of all, my buddy Rick Mueller, who I scouted with in the Canadian League, great guy, NFL personnel guy for the last 20 years. Randy Mueller's brother. If you guys know Randy Mueller, he's been on the stream before. Former GM of the Dolphins and Saints, great guy. And is now doing consulting work for a team. I forget which team, but Randy, I just talked to him about a month ago. But Rick and I were in Sacramento today with the Gold Miners way, way back, 90s, right? Then eventually he became the recruiting coordinator for Coastal Carolina. And he recruited this guy out of Florida to Coastal Carolina, Willie Lampkin. And he's 5'10", 290. He's really short, but he's just a power package. And he went to the Senior Bowl, and he just won a lot of the one-on-ones. He's incredibly strong. And then he's a wrestler, so he understands leverage. He was the highest graded rookie offensive lineman. He had an injury, so it's not like he had some injury along the way. It wasn't like he would, so that might be part of the reason. But this is an impact offensive lineman that we have seen in the NFL in the preseason burying people. And the Niners center is Jake Brendel. And their backup center is Matt Hennessy. And they were looking at Drake Nugent. And I love Drake Nugent, good guy. But, smaller guy. This guy's 290. So what? So who cares that he's 2 inches shorter than Drake Nugent? They're basically the same weight. He's actually weighs more. but this guy's strength is off the charts. And why wouldn't you want this guy? This would be the guy that I would pick up. Willie Lampkin. Willie Lampkin. All right, we'll stop sharing that. All right, on that note, let's welcome in the great Raj Melwani from RSF 49ers. He's fantastic, and he's with us here on the KMBR Niners Nightly. Raj, how are you?
I'm good, but you teased me with those snacks in the green room, and there was no snacks, no gift. I'm a little disappointed, but I'm good. What a busy, crazy day. How are you doing, Larry?
Man, I'm doing fantastic, and good to see you. It was a busy day. It was a crazy day. Go ahead, give me your take. I know you have one. You're a big time Niner guy. Niners made a bunch of choices today. I tried in the first part of the hour here to kind of make sense of it a little bit for the audience and try to explain some of the angles. Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, obviously you touched on it, but I fell to my knees at Walmart when Sebastian Valdez was waived from the roster. I hope he clears waivers. I don't think he is. If he does, by some miracle, and they can get him on the practice squad, I'll be very happy. But Robert Beal, come on, Larry. And then Yetur Gross-Matos, to me, I don't think I've ever seen Yetur Gross-Matos and Bigfoot, Sasquatch in the same room. I think Yetur Gross-Matos is like a mystical creature. He's never on the field. You kept him over Sebastian Valdez. That's roster like genocide. I could not believe it, Larry. I was like, wow. I was surprised that Dallas Flowers got released from the team, but I guess they like Darrell Luter. He has potential. If he could stay on the field, I think they like him over Flowers, and he could probably be on the practice squad. But that was surprising.
Well, that one, Raj, I think is, they didn't waive Flowers. They just released Flowers.
Released him, yeah.
So I think they probably talked to Flowers and just said, hey, man, we're going to release you, and then we're going to bring you back. Because he has been a key cog for them this summer. It's not like he's just been like, he's a pretty good player. No, he's been a veteran corner and return guy. And at times he's made some fantastic plays. I just feel like he's for sure on the roster, but I think they did the smart thing with that. I think they wanted to retain their inventory of quality corners, because 6-foot corners with cheap contracts, with a clean injury health, going forward right now, guys like Luter flashed enough that they would get claimed. They're, as opposed to Flowers, who's already torn his Achilles. He's been around the league.
I mean, I understand it. I get where it's come from. I mean, I get it. They probably said, look, we can wait. We can release him. He'll get cleared up. And we'll put him on the practice squad. But I was surprised because Darrell Luter, he was up and down. Those last 2 weeks, I think he really started to come into his own, and now he's been healthy. I honestly think Jacob Robinson, fracturing his forearm opened the way for Luter. I think once that happened, it kind of like paved the way for the Rod, which is good for him. I'm happy. I want him to be good because he's kind of like the prototype at cornerback. He's just got to be on the field and be healthy. I do like Darrell Luter.
You saw that play he made in the preseason game against the run, where he supported the run, and you're just like, you know what? It's nice, when you see a guy like that step into the lane and really starch somebody. You remember, Emmanuel Mosley and what it was really like to have, that corner on the edge that was a force against the run. They really haven't had that. Teams have been able to just kind of run to the edges against the Niners with no real fear of just getting stuck. And I kind of feel like Luter has a big enough body and enough athleticism to really hit people.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he is a physical corner, and you're right. The run game has been definitely lacking on defense. So that's one of the ways they're going to probably improve it. I know they're going to do a lot of stunts and blitzes and different things. And then you go to the safety department, where a little thin there. Marquis Siegel, obviously, he's great. I'm glad Pinnock made it. Those two guys probably your starters. Jair Brown, I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with them. You couldn't release him. There's no way, because he somewhat has a little trade value. But Richie Grant making it, I was surprised I didn't have him on my initial 53, but I mean, if you look up and down the roster, it's like, okay, who's the other safety there? So I still think they got some work to do in the safety department. We'll see if they make a trade or look at the waiver wire. But Mustafa, obviously PUP. So I think they're just trying to buy their time till Mustafa comes back. And then the big problem on offense, there's only if the season started today, Larry, just 2 healthy wide receivers on this roster. Wide receiver is crazy right now. And I know you talked about, I was listening to some players they could bring in. I like the guys you added. There's also a guy from the Bucks they released, Trey, what's his name? Trey, was it Wilson? What's his name?
Trey Herndon, maybe? No.
I can't think of his name off the top of my head.
I can look it up. We can look it up. But there's a bunch of receivers out there. I mean, I was thinking Raheem Jarrett, Malachi Corley, Laviska Shenault, Mario Williams.
Trey Palmer. That's the guy, Trey Palmer.
Palmer, the former Nebraska guy. Talk about another guy who runs really well. I mean, they're going to have to do something. They're going to have to do something at wide receiver. To me, they got some major questions. Here are the major questions. Wide receiver. Okay, that's one. Because you just don't have any healthy guys and you got a lot of openings there. The other major question for the 49ers, if you take a real close look at it, it's the edge rush is a major problem. Why? Because Bosa's been out with side issues. Huff is undersized. Mikael Williams has been out for a period of time with a hyperextended knee. Sam O has been out for a lot of time this summer. And I mean, all those guys, if you have all those guys in there all at full throttle, you're doing okay. Then you'd be okay with Gross Matos and Beal. But Gross Matos and Beal on the back end of that, I really think, defensive end 4 and 5, the Niners better find a way to upgrade that, because you could be looking at games where you're starting Gross Matos and Sam O. I mean, they're literally, if you told me that, Bosa and Mikael Williams and Huff all had an injury or something within 3 weeks, it wouldn't shock me at all. Bosa's looking sore all summer. Mikael, is grabbing his ankle early in camp and has now hyperextended the knee. I just think that's a real problem, because once you can't dial up heat off the edge on opposing quarterbacks, then suddenly your defense sucks. Suddenly your young DBs are getting roasted. Suddenly, everybody against you looks really, really good. So you got to be, and I know Robert Saleh is better than Sorensen, so he'll be able to dial up some exotics from time to time to get him through a lean moment here or there. But if they have any kind of injuries to their defense, I mean, Bosa and Huff are awesome. They lose either one of those guys for any period of time, they are absolutely screwed. So I think they got to upgrade Beal, and I think they got to upgrade Gross Matos. And I know they don't want to, the Gross Matos thing is another one of these moves trying to justify a signing from yesteryear. Let it go. It's a sunk. Somebody explain the sunk cost concept. Because, I mean, it's like, come on, you got a sunk cost. You're paying them either way. You know what I mean? It's like, would you rather be right than wrong? Sure. But how long you going to go with Gross Matos and have it cost you the year because he's hurt and unproductive, when most of the time in his career, he's been hurt and unproductive. He's flashed, but he's been flashing talent since Penn State. And there's right now you could get Travis Gibson back. I mentioned Kamon Rucker from Carolina, Mo Kamara, Isaiah Foskey, and others, Jamin Davis. I mean, if I'm them, I'm not, the only thing I would say, do you have any complaints about the regime? I really don't. I think I think John's a good GM. I think Shanahan's a hell of a coach. My only complaint is they're very popular with their team. They're very in there with the players. Shanahan's like a player. Lynch is really close to the players. The best personnel people have a coldness about them. Jimmy Johnson was cold. Bill Walsh was cold. Jim Finks was cold. Brett Veach for the Kansas City Chiefs, cold. Howie Roseman, cold. The best GMs are cold. There's a lot of warmth around Lynch and Shanahan. I almost feel like there's a little bit too much warmth there. I'd like to see a little bit more cold. Like, I know you like Robert Beal, and you probably had good conversations with Yatir Gross Matos. If you can find dudes that are better, get them, and have a coldness about your whole approach to the personnel side of things. I'm not saying that it bleeds into the thing, but it's just, by the way, I'm watching Dallas right now. I'm seeing Nick Sorensen, Dallas special teams coach. Look at that.
Yeah. No, but I mean, 100%. It's why they, like, Kyle Shanahan has the whole Cabo crew. Like, people are close to him. People say, there's a lot of roster politics. Like, that's what I felt kept a lot of people on this team. Like, again, the YGM keeping him, I honestly thought that was a wasted pick of the 53-man roster because he's going to get hurt in eventually a couple weeks. Travis Gibson was great during preseason. He definitely gives you a little bit of pop off the edge. And this is crazy because me and you have sat there and talked about defensive line, edge rushers for a year now, and it's still the same issue. They're going to have D-line issues. They had 11 guys because they know some of those guys are going to get hurt. They're like, we need the depth. And again, they kept the wrong guy. I think Valdez should have made it. They have some talent on the D-line. They addressed it in the draft, but they're very, very young. And you made a good point. And a lot of them have been banged up. If they're injured, it doesn't matter how good they are on paper. You got to be able to play. So I am a little worried on that. And then again, wide receiver to me, I can't stress that enough. I'm definitely, I'm almost certain they're going for a wide receiver tomorrow on the waivers. They have the 11th.
Who do you want? I mean, would you trade for one? There's also, there's talk about Jacoby Myers and guys like that. Jacoby Myers is a player, man.
Anybody that can help. I'm not picky at this point. Beggars can't be choosers. Levesque Chanel, Jacoby Myers, whoever can help.
Raheem Jarrett, yeah.
We got 2 healthy receivers right now on the roster. Jacob Cowing's probably going to injure reserve tomorrow, so they could put the punter on your. You don't even have your punter on the roster right now, Larry. He told everybody
you got Tongus. You got Tongus.
Jake Tongus.
Tongus.
I thought.
I like Tongus as a guy. I mean, if you're watching this, I mean, I'm not. Believe me, I'm not like, oh, Tongus. I'm just saying, third string tight end over, some really key over a guy like Sebastian Valdez, who can rush the passer from the interior. I mean, if Tongus fulfills the potential they see in him, he's a special teamer third string tight end. If Valdez, fulfills the promise that he shows, he's going to be making tens of millions of dollars. So it's like, wow, it's an unbelievable thing. Okay, Jake, another quick one here. Jake Moody is shaky. Okay. And today there was Dustin Hopkins cut. Buffalo cut Caden Davis, who's got a big time leg from Ole Miss. He was in the transfer portal. I think he started at A&M. He's got a big leg. There were 2 or 3 kickers that were cut loose today, including Dustin Hopkins. Listen to this stat. And I haven't verified this stat. I saw this today, and I don't know if this is 100% true. Raj, maybe you could verify. Maybe somebody in the chat could verify. But I heard, and I was busy today, so I didn't have time to verify this stat. And normally I would, and I don't like other people doing my homework for me. But I heard that Jake Moody is 16 of 29 on 40-plus yard field goals over the last 2 years. Is that possible?
It's possible because it's probably true.
Slightly over 50% on 40-plus. Not 50-plus, 40-plus.
That's not good.
It's not good.
He's going to be on thin ice. Jake Moody at this point, he's got a short leash. They kept him because they got to justify the draft pick. They wasted a 3rd-round pick on him. We all know that. But I think he's on thin ice. And I feel like there's a lot of quality kickers out there. They got Greg Joseph on speed dial, and I think they worked him out this offseason to kind of see they're like, okay, we like Greg. If we need to, we can call him up, and he can come right back. So I do feel they're going to give Jake a short amount of time to prove himself. If he has one blunder, if he has a game where he misses some kicks, some PATs, misses a game winner or something, they're going to make the call. I really think that leash is short. I think they want to try to justify it, and they're saying, like Kyle the other day after the last game, he says, oh, I think he had a great preseason. He's trying to build his confidence up. That's what they're doing every single week, just trying to keep him, okay, keep the mental game, up and up. But honestly, you got to let it go. At some point, you just got to swallow your ego, swallow your pride, and say we were wrong because Jake Moody is a liability. And if we lose a game because of a bad kick or an errant PAT, oh, man. And did you see there was a kickoff, kicks it out of bounds. Kyle Shanahan, the face he looked at him with was unbelievable. And then Brant Boyer was just like, nope.
You don't want to cross Brant Boyer, by the way.
Yeah, you don't.
I mean, seriously. Brant Boyer looks like he could get mad. All right. Yeah, I mean, it's just a tough one. It's a tough one. As far as the positives today on the roster being pared down, I like that they didn't try to expose Jordan James to waivers and did Jeff Wilson. That was smart. Thought that was very smart. I thought it was very smart of them to expose Gage and Chosen to waivers and not Watkins and Cowing. Regardless what you think about Cowing right now, I thought that was smart. You're retaining your inventory. Now you got to do something with Cowing now, and you got to do something with Jennings. You know, is Watkins ready to roll? Maybe not. So you literally right now have Sky Moore and Ricky Pearsall as your entire receiving core
That's
going
crazy.
in. That's nuts. So you got to get a couple of receivers
and
somewhere, somehow.
Yeah.
I don't, you know, to me, they kind of kicked the can down the road on the O-line. 10 O-linemen.
I know.
Get off the fence and make a call. My goodness. Colby, Moss, and your choice of Burford or Pleasance. That's all you need. That's all you need as your backups. Colby, Moss, and your choice of Burford or Pleasance. One tackle, one center, one guard. That's all you need. Cut Hennessy. I would go for Hennessy. I'd get rid of Hennessy and go get Willie Lampkin right now.
Get your boy.
That's the guy. Oh, my God. Could you imagine? Could you imagine Willie Lampkin on this team?
Yeah.
You could also use him as your short yardage fullback. Oh, my God. Willie Lampkin was amazing this summer.
He was. They should go for that. I mean, I was happy that Drew Moss made the roster over Nick Sakelj because I honestly thought they were going to keep Nick Sakelj with the roster politics. You know, he was Brock's old roommate. So I was very happy that Drew Moss made the roster. He looks very good. And, you know, I think it would have been crazy if they released him. So I don't know. It's just depth. I think the Niners are bracing themselves because they got a lot of injuries. Like Ben Barch, is he like going to be healthy? We don't know. Just like YGM, Ben Barch is a guy that can't stay healthy. He has talent, flashes, whatever you want to call it, but his whole career has been marred by injury. So I do think that's why they've kept a lot of linemen because they just don't know. So you're going to have all these extra linemen on there. So Ben Barch, YGM, two guys that I'm like, I don't know, man. But overall, I was very pleased with, like I said, Drew Moss. That was great. But there are some guys out there, like you said, Willie Lampkin, go make a move, baby.
That would be my guy. I mean, come on. He's an awesome wrestler. He had a great preseason. I mean, there's always risk, right? When I saw that he was a 5'10" lineman, I'm like, yeah, it's kind of risky. Then when I saw him dominate at the Senior Bowl, I'm like, well, less risk. Then when I saw him in the pre-draft, you know, what his numbers looked like, I'm like, yeah, this guy's probably could do it. But then when I saw him in the NFL in the preseason killing people and as the highest graded offensive lineman in the entire league, I mean, I pluck that guy. Somebody's going to take that guy. I don't know. The Niners have the 11th pick. He'll probably be gone by then.
Yeah, they have the 11th waiver priority. So
yeah, but that's the guy. I mean, that's the guy.
They're probably going wide receiver with that first waiver claim tomorrow.
Maybe not. I mean, you know, maybe they'll go for a veteran. I mean, some people think they should go for guys like Hunter Renfrow or Robert Woods, guys who are like a little bit more polished and, you know, ready, you know, older. What do you think of that, Raj? I mean, I like the idea of Mario Williams. I like the idea of Isaiah Badger or going young. But there's, you know, young receivers in the NFL, admittedly, don't do a whole lot. Would you rather go with to me, something in between would be nice. Like a Raheem Jarrett would be nice just because he's got some experience, but he still has his youthfulness. He's still, you know, in the prime of his career. He's not like, you know, Robert Woods is older, like 33 or 34.
I wouldn't go Robert Woods, but honestly, Hunter Renfrow, I wouldn't be mad at that. You got to look at it is sometimes these young receivers, they got to learn a whole new system. You know, Kyle with these younger guys, are they even going to be playing much, even though they need guys? Like, how much opportunities are they going to get? A veteran, they could probably learn things, pick it up a little bit quicker. So maybe they go that route. And if they do, I wouldn't mind Hunter Renfrow. So I think overall, it just really depends on what they're going to do with Watkins. And obviously, Cowing's probably going to IR. But I think Watkins is going to be a big part of this decision because the high ankle, will he be ready week one? If not, they're going to need to get maybe two guys, right, for week one. And then what the heck's happening with Juwan Jennings? Like, is it his calf? Is it the contract? There's so much different rumors going on about Juwan Jennings. So that situation needs to be worked out. So if they don't have Jennings, potentially, they may not have 100% Watkins. I wouldn't mind getting a veteran like Renfrow. He could come in, and sometimes if you have a young guy in that situation, because there's a lot of pressure right there, it might be a lot of pressure for a younger player to handle. Coming onto a new team, learning a whole new offensive playbook. I think getting a veteran would be a little bit more stable than getting a young buck. But either way, they need a wide receiver, Larry.
Raj, in the last part of the last 5 minutes of our extravaganza here, you mentioned Juwan Jennings.
Yeah.
Let's just say that Shanahan walked onto this show right now.
No.
He'd be really, really uncomfortable because we wouldn't throw him lobs like others. But you like how I threw that out there?
Yeah. The views would be crazy if you had him on the show.
If we had him on, we would have the views would be, I mean, they'd be Raj-esque. They'd be RSF 49ers.
They'd be Larry-esque.
Larry-esque. They'd be Krug Show-esque.
Yeah.
If Shanny were here, and I only say Shanny because of affection, if Shanny were here and he just said, "Hey, you know what? I just want to call the plays, man. I just want to, put points on the board. I don't want to do all this. Raj, Krug, you guys got this. You tell me what we should do with JJ, and it's done. What would you do?
Go trade him.
Here are your options."
Oh,
okay. He says to you, "Hey, by the way, here's the deal. Jet ain't going to pay him big money long term. He's just not. He's not going to give him an IU contract." Okay. So that, like, he basically said, "I'll let you guys decide, but let me just tell you right now, Jet ain't giving him. Jet ain't falling for the banana in the tailpipe. Jet ain't giving him the Ayuk deal." Okay, so now you know that. That's the score from Shanahan. What are you doing with JJ? Really? And I want to know, you got to have a real plan, because you can't just be like, "Hey, bro, stick it." Because we all know that ain't going to work.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to have to either negotiate or somehow appease him, somehow you're going to have to trade him, or you're going to have to figure out where he's at. You're going to have to somehow give him something. I don't know. I mean, what would you do?
Okay. So, here's what I would do. Basically, I'd give him two options. Option one, we'll give you a little bit more money, but it's all going to be incentives. Look, you want more money? We just paid you last year. We gave you a new contract extension last year. We're not going to extend you again. So let me give you a contract with a little bit more, but it's based on incentives, like X amount of receiving yards, X amount of catches. You show us that you want this money. Go prove yourself. Go ball out. If not, I'm trading him. The Raiders want to get Jacoby Myers wants to trade out of the Raiders. Trade him for Jacoby Myers. There you go. That's it. Let's make it happen.
Could you think the Raiders would do that?
They probably won't, but I mean, if you give them enough I think if you nudge him enough,
JJ and a sweetener.
Yeah, get JJ in a little bit of a draft pick, maybe. I think they'd be good. But then the other issue,
we'll throw in Tongus.
Okay. That's really.
Will you give us Myers for JJ? No. How about if we throw in Tongus?
That's like bitters instead of sweeteners. No, you know what? I'll give him YGM. I'll give him Tongus. I'll give him Robert Beal and JJ. Just take out all. Take all of that.
There you go. Everybody who has like a nick, you can shorten their name and letters.
Yeah.
You will give you a little JJ, a little YGM, a little. Who else do we have? Anybody else? Okay, I like it. I think I would say to him, "Hey, look, you need what you need." That's what I would say to him if I was Shanahan. "Hey, JJ, you need what you need, but I need what I need. And I'm the coach of this team. You're not. I love you. I admire you, but my needs come before your needs. And I need you to show up and ball out like the badass that I know you are all 17 games and the playoffs. And I need you to play like there is no contract issue and never bring it up once and just play and just absolutely play and compartmentalize your whole life where there's no bitterness, there's no resentment, there's no nothing. It's just biz and we're moving forward. Can you do it? And be honest with me. Be honest with me. I'm going to shoot you straight. I just did. You shoot me straight. back. Can you do that? Or if you can't do that, just tell me. I totally not. And I would say to him, JJ, I know not everybody can do that. I know it. I understand it. So you just tell me where you're at. Yeah. Can you do it? And if so, let's go. And if you can't, that's okay. I love you anyway, and we'll find a new home. But you just tell me, we're not extending you. You're not getting an extension. You're playing on your $7.5 million this year. And if you play, I'll feed you the ball. I'll look, we'll feed you in the red zone. I ain't going to run away from you in the red zone. I'll get you the rock, but I need you all in mentally, emotionally, and I need you to lead. If you can't do it, that's cool, but I need to know right now.
Yeah, I agree. Give him.
That's it. That's it. I just did Shanahan's job for him. There you go. That's the conversation. And then when he says, you know what? I'm pissed, man. I'm pissed. Bye-bye.
Right, he got to trade him. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And again, hey, you know what? You're going to love Vegas. You're going to block for Genty. He's going to rush for 1,000 yards. They're going to love you because you're the best run blocking receiver in the game. And you're going to make a lot of money because all the run blocking, all the run heavy teams are going to come bidding for you, but you're going to do it this year in Vegas. And you're still invited to Cabo, but but that's it. And if he's like, Kyle, I'm your dog, I'm your guy, you can bank on me, then let's go. See you at practice tomorrow. Let's not talk another word about this, and let's effing go.
Let's go.
Period.
Yeah, obviously. That's it. Again, 100%. That's why I said, you tell him you want to get paid, maybe we can give you incentives, but I'm not sitting there and opening the checkbook for him to say, look, we're going to pay you all this money. He needs to be serious. They paid him last year. If not, we got options. Tell him you got options. That's it.
You tripping over here has a good one.
You tripping.
JJ is going to say, yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, he might. He's going to say, F that twin. Twin. Twin.
That is funny.
That's too much, man. Oh, God.
Wait a second. Here we go. This is a pretty good one, too. Half dead. Larry's wedding vows were actually a Vince Lombardi halftime pep talk.
Were they? They might have been.
We're going to get a seal here. We're going to get a seal here. And we're going to run this in the alley. You ever seen Lombardi when he's doing, not Dave, but Vince?
No, Vince Lombardi. He's got some legendary speeches. That's funny.
Seriously, good stuff. Raj, tell people who are seeing you and going, hey, this guy's awesome. He's fantastic. He's got great perspective on the Niners. Where can I see him more? Where can I see more of him? That makes more sense. Tease where you're at.
Yeah, our SF 49ers on all platforms, just like the name shows in the chat, our SF 49ers. And you can see me on Tuesday nights with you on the Krueger Show.
That's right. We're gonna keep this party going. We got about 423 people watching on the KMBR YouTube side. Raj and I are gonna towel off for a second, get a drink of water, maybe a little sarsaparilla, and then 15 minutes from now, we're going to rekindle this on the Krueger Show. And you're all invited. You're all invited. So there you go. Raj, you're the best, man. Thanks for jumping on. Hey, guys, hope you enjoyed Niners Nightly tonight. It was cut down day. I hope we had some good dialogue for you. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Appreciate all of you guys. We walked into the room. There was not a single person watching the KMBR stream that we were in. And we're walking out with almost 425 people watching. So really very, very cool. Very much enjoyed Niners Nightly. So it was motivational speech time. Yeah. All right. Lynch and Shanahan speak tomorrow. I'll be down in Santa Clara bringing you all of the sights and sounds of that. That should be juicy. I would imagine tomorrow's going to be good. So don't miss tomorrow night's Niners Nightly. I'm back with you on the YouTube side tomorrow, Wednesday. Thursday, we're back on the radio. Friday, I'm off because I'm going to be doing 10 a.m. I'll be sitting in for Greg Papa with Greg Silver from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on KMBR. So no Niners Nightly Friday night. So sorry about that, guys. There'll be no Niners Nightly. But if you want to continue this conversation with Raj, and I know you do because we haven't hit everything yet, join us on the Krueger Show in about 15 minutes. Thanks to all of you for jumping in on KMBR. And we'll see you tomorrow night at 6 for more Niners Nightly. Good night, everybody.